Hello guys, my name is Amit Sani and I welcome you in this daily Hindu analysis video. In the morning these videos come, in the evening the MCQ lessons they come. Both the lessons you need to follow there. 1st of August it is, and 2 months are gone. The people who are preparing for the next year's Civil Service Examination prelims, and 2 months are gone, 10 months are left. Whenever you have any kind of confusion regarding your preparation, then go through the previous year's papers and your preparation will again come to that default level and as it should be. So that reorientation you need always. You need to orient your thoughts. You need to organize your thoughts always, and periodically you should check yourself in those things, that what is your confidence level, what is your activity level, what is your attitude level, means how much committed you are there and how much consistent you are and how much you want to do things on a consistent basis. So that's the key for the success in this examination. Pocket News app is trending on Google Play, and regarding these courses, description is given below the video. You can call on these numbers, and this is the website's address where the chat section is available, and you can ask about any of these courses. PDF you will get here on this group, and the Telegram channel's link you will find there. You can follow me on Instagram too, and this is the Telegram channel's link where I upload the PDF, and the StudyIQ's Telegram link, we all know about that. Now, first article important for it's actually a difficult categorization, because these are actually an examples. So this is an important example you can write in any mains questioning, or an important topic for essay also, because Amazon rainforests, this is the equatorial region where Amazon river flows, and these rainforests are present. So these are supposed to be lungs of this globe. Why? Because it's a great density and lakhs of square kilometers these jungles are spread in. But now we have seen in some recent reports that these forest areas are declining in Brazil, and with a very fast pace. But now a drastic change, and it's a very negative change. Jair Bolsonaro, the newly elected president in Brazil, he took office on 1st of January this year, and in these 6 months, just in 6 months, 4,200 square kilometers of forests they have been destroyed, and I think it is the data up to 24th of July, means around 6.5 months. They have destroyed 42 square kilometers of data, and this is the satellite image data, means it's a clear proof that they have destroyed that much. But the leader says that it is a kind of a conspiracy against me by the left leaders, because he is a conservative leader, and all over the world conservative leaders are running these big countries. We all know about that, and that's why whatever they say, whatever they decide, whatever they act, they will justify that particular thing, calling it nationalistic, and we are doing whatever is best for the country. In the same way, they are saying that to turn these forests into farmlands, pastures and gold mines and building roads, it's utterly necessary, and often we need to do all these things. So it's not any act which is not necessary, it is utterly necessary, and these all questions, all comments are anti-government and anti-national. He is not considering these things as truth. So that's the problem. What are the qualities? These are massive sinks of sequestered carbon, means when these forests are growing, then new trees they are making their own food, they are growing, then they sequester carbon, they fix the carbon, and from that sun's energy, with the help of absorbing carbon dioxide, they turn this thing into food. So this is the way of carbon sequestration. So that's the best way. In many reports we have seen recently that growing a new forest is the best way of carbon sequestration, best way we can utilize the excessive carbon. So massive sinks, and they have a rich biodiversity, regulating monsoon systems, because there are also these kind of systems are there, and 400 non-indigenous groups are living there. Now they have killed a particular head of a particular group, so their lives are also at stake, because they are a problem. They have their own forest rights and all, so they are a problem for these governments. So they are actually evicting these people from these places. And in India also, Supreme Court has again given this verdict that 1.1 million families they have to go from the forest areas. So it's a very dangerous trend, and the way governments and judicial systems they are creating this nexus against these indigenous groups, that's very dangerous, because these people are nowhere dangerous to the forests. You cannot call them as stresses for the jungle systems, because whatever stress, whatever reason which is there, that is the economic pressure by these nations on these forest systems. They need to exploit that. That's the reason. And openly they are saying that these mining issues, pasture systems and forests and all, these farmlands and all, so their needs are huge and we need to exploit that. But they say they will exploit that, but what actually they do, they destroy them. So this is not exploitation what they are doing, this is the destruction of that. So in a clear move with the satellite data, this is proved that they have destroyed 4,200 square kilometers of Amazon forest. And it's a clear case of priorities also, because it is not like that he was not getting anything there, any kind of support was not there. Support was there. He lost actually an opportunity, valuable opportunity to seek higher funding for forest protection by refusing to host the annual convention of UNFCCC. It was to be there, but he refused to do that, because after taking that fund, he had to conserve this forest. But now they had to clear that, because all the motives of these mining companies and all, they need to be fulfilled. So that's why it's a clear conspiracy, and he says that it's a conspiracy against me. Actually, they are destroying that, and intentionally. And Brazil must welcome initiatives such as $1 billion Amazon fund backed by Norway and Germany, which has been operating for over a decade, instead of trying to shut them down. So supports are available, and it is not only about the Brazil country. That's a specific one, because Amazon forests are most unique and specific ones, and they are the lungs in this world. But it's also applicable to other countries also, like where on papers in the forest survey reports, jungles, their numbers, their square kilometers are rising, but there are different versions available of these realities. Means in a recent report, it was seen that lakhs of trees were cut down, and in a very short span of time. So that means that some things are going on which are hidden from the true reports, and in the reporting the true numbers are not seen there. So that's the case. Next article is regarding the triple talaq issue, and it's a welcome move by all. We all know there was injustice prevailing, but there are some legal angles to it. And here the writer says that already Supreme Court had given its verdict in 2017 calling triple talaq as illegal, and when it was declared as illegal, means no more this thing was applicable. And if somebody was giving this divorce on the basis of triple talaq, then that was not legitimate. Already this thing was illegitimate. So when the government says that their main objective to give effect to this particular verdict, so that's okay. But in this way, what they are doing, they have actually made this a cognizable offense. It's a criminal offense, but it's not a criminal offense, this divorce activity, in any other religion, although the triple talaq is not there in any other community. So it is there, but it's a case of divorce only. It's a type of divorce only, and in other communities the divorce is not a criminal offense, it's a civil offense, and it's not a cognizable offense. And in this case it would be a cognizable offense only if the wife would complain about that, or anyone who is related to her by blood or marriage. If they complain about that, then it would be a cognizable offense. But now there is an issue that when they have made it a criminal offense, then that person can be sent to jail. Means the husband can be sent into jail, and the triple talaq will not be possible. Means it's illegitimate, and when it is not applicable, means the marriage persists. Means the marriage is there, marriage is still there, and still they are husband and wives, and the wife can send the husband to jail, and even after that she can ask for the this particular support for the kids and the custody. That means she is asking for the monetary support from the husband. But how he can support? He will be in the jail. maybe some family income or something like that would be there, but that person is there in the jail. How logically he can support the wife there and the kids there? So that's a illogical thing according to some experts in this issue, and he cannot provide this subsistence allowance at that time. So that's the biggest problem there. And one more issue of deserted women. And you see, triple talaq obviously deserts a woman there. So that's a case, and that's why it's an injustice issue, and that should have been taken down. Now, case of desertations are also there in other religions, like in Hindu families also. Some people do like that. They do not go for any kind of divorce or something like that, and they elope from the marriage, or maybe they desert their wives, and that wife is now living alone. So that is also the case where he is not providing any subsistence allowance, and he is not supporting, maybe there are kids or not. So that's the case. So that's why this issue should also be tackled down, and there must be a universal law regarding all forms of desertation there. So that's the problem. Okay, so you cannot target one community according to their particular traditions on all. And although it's not a tradition, and this triple talaq is not a tradition, and triple talaq is heavily creating injustices to many women, so that was to be seen there. But other issues are also there in other communities, so that also must be taken care of. So this issue is important for GS paper 2, and in essay or in other issue also you may discuss this particular angle. Now the biggest article of the day: in hate crimes, fight a voice still feeble. You see, they are taking a cue from the US case, where after 100 years they are able to pass this particular federal law, and they have made lynching a federal crime. So since 1918 this issue was going on, many people were killed in that time, and in 2018 they have declared this a federal crime. So America's was the first written constitution, and America's judicial system is very strong, and we are following many things from there. But there 200 anti-lynching bills were introduced since 18, but after 100 years they have actually passed this law, and that is also because 3 senators of African American descent, they actually support this move. So they brought this issue, and now it is passed. And how we see that? What is terrorism? Terrorism means creating terror, creating fear, and putting somebody into psychological constraint, and with the ultimate level of fear, we must say. So that's why it is the same issue. If somebody is coming with a AK-47 and shooting people, then that creates fear. So militants create fear in normal public. So that's why we call it terrorism. But that is also a form of terrorism when hundreds of people, they gather and they start beating one person, and they kill that person. That person cries, that person is struggling to get any kind of help, and maybe that person dies. And on what basis? In many of these cases, the allegation was something like that we had a suspicion of theft, means some kind of crime, and only allegation, and that is not proved, means intentionally they are targeting somebody. They wanted to murder a person, then they hid anything, and they put this blame on that person, that this person was actually stealing this thing, or we have a suspicion that this person has stolen this thing, and that's why they were beating him. And it's a kind of a celebration for these people. They are creating a video of that incident, means they have some backers out there, and they want to please those people, and they are sending this message that we have done this work, and we have created this fear in that community, and we have killed this person like that. And they are justifying these issues. One person, one minister, Jayant Sinha, I would name that person, he was garlanding those people who were accused of lynching. So shocking this thing was, means lynchers are backed, and it's a political backing. Clearly it's a political backing, and this issue was not there. So this is a kind of a clear backing of a kind of a terror act. It's a biased, motivated act of terror, because terror means creating the fear, spreading the fear among any community and showing them that law and order is there, but still we may kill you. That is the act of terror. And we have many laws regarding terrorism, but we do not have any law against lynching, and they are not ready to bring this kind of law. By so many incidents, by this much pressure that was created, and even after trolling of those people who are questioning that why you are not bringing this law, those people were trolled like hell, and it is their own social media armies, their IT handlers who were trolling those people, because they never wanted to bring this kind of bill, and they wanted to create this kind of fear, and still they are creating that. And the main issue of dereliction of duty by the police officials means they must have been there. This is the ultimate responsibility. If somebody would say in a civilization that police system should be there, then what is the first task? The first task is somebody is beating someone, somebody is killing someone on the street, then police would say that this is the prime duty of the police, and they are not fulfilling that duty. Means they are videographing that incident, means openly they are doing that. Okay, on the street they are doing that, and police system is there in this country, law and order is there, constitution is there, but still police is not saving that person, and it is not a task of a few minutes, or it is not something like that somebody has done something and they have ran away. They are videographing that incident, they are dancing there, and they are chanting some slogans there. It's all a loud issue, and police is not there. It's an issue of a dereliction of the duty, dereliction of the particular responsibility by the police officials. So there must be the harshest punishment for those police officials who are not serving that person. There can be any kind of allegation, there can be any kind of issue to the mob. They can lodge an FIR. If they have so much pressure, they can go to the police station and they can ask for highest level of inquiry and the punishment for that person. So they should go for the FIRs. They can go for some kind of legal suit against that person. But you are killing that person means you are ending the evidence also, so that the person is not able to say anything. And you are videographing because you do not have any fear there. So that's the deliberate act of terror. It's a terrorism act. Clearly, it's a terrorism act, and it's with a motive. And you are chanting slogans there. And if those slogans are very holy, related to religion, and if somebody is asking that why you are using these religious slogans in that killing, that's the most legitimate question. And those people are asking that why you have problem with this particular slogan. Maybe the Jai Shri Ram issue that was used, that's the slogan that was used. They are asking that why you have a problem with Jai Shri Ram. Nobody has a problem with Jai Shri Ram. The problem is that you are using that slogan in an intentional killing, that terror act. This is the biased terror act. So that's the issue, and it's a very difficult thing when mob is involved, and this is the case of United States there. And it's the issue of racism, means the powerful, the majority, they do not want to leave that issue of racism, which is the allegation against that, because we are talking on the humanitarian grounds, and that's why we are calling it a kind of allegation. Otherwise, this racism issue was a kind of a privilege for the white people in America and for the powerful people or the majority in India. So that's the case. So that's why the racism and the biased motivated act of terrorism, that is lynching, and that's why the important law against lynching, that must be there, but it is still not there even after so many issues. And they have pushed for so many laws like triple talaq they have brought there, but triple talaq issue is a legitimate one, that's okay. But is it not okay to bring this kind of law, this kind of heinous crime? You cannot make a parallel. If somebody would compare triple talaq issue and this lynching issue, then certainly this lynching is way more dire and dangerous, and they are not very much serious about that. Nobody says anything about that. And about the dereliction of duty, in the Unnao case also we saw a clear case of dereliction of the duty. How easily they are creating this imagination that it was by chance the rape victim, She alleged against that the MLA. By chance, her father was beaten up in the police station and he was killed there. By chance, the brother of that killed person, he was slapped with many cases. By chance, the threats were there for the family, for the girl, that we will kill you if you do not take that case back. By chance, it happened that at that day, these police officials who were put there on the duty to save that witness and the girl there, but they were not on there in that car. By chance, in the same day, they were not there. Means they were going to the court that day. Means it was the most sensitive time when the safety was needed. And at that time, they say that the family itself said to us that we will go alone and there is no need for the protection. What kind of joke is that? At that day, when they were getting consistent threats, and the final day when they were going to the court, they said that we do not need protection. What kind of joke is that? And they are saying that they only told us. And where are they? They are all dead now. So how smart these people are, and how smart these lynchers are, and how smart these political backers are, that they want us to believe everything what they say. And that is going on, and that's why we need a most stringent law there. And maybe the public have gone mad. Maybe the whole public will go mad tomorrow. But court, they have to maintain the constitutional values, and they have to bring those verdicts and those kind of laws. They need to uphold those laws. And it is the utter responsibility of the government of and the executing bodies and the president, that anyhow these things would be applied, and these things will be applicable in the public sphere. Maybe the law, maybe the things, they will not be suitable to the majority of this country, but that doesn't matter, because our learnings of thousands of years and this world's experience that shows us that this kind of killing is never justified. Maybe that person has killed anybody, but you do not have any right to lynch any person. You have to take that person to the police station, and you have to file a case against that. That is the right. You cannot kill somebody like that, and that's a clear case of biased lynching and a biased act of terror. So that's the case. And here you can see modern technologies as they are using. There is no fear among these people. And if somebody raises question against these things, then there is a uproar and hullabaloo in the parliament. They suppress those questions. Means intentionally these people want that no questioning is there against those lynchings, and we are not pressured to bring any kind of law against that, because we are serving a purpose there, and that purpose is creating fear among targeted communities. And this is how they will target people, and they will satisfy the foolish people in this country who are supporting these lynchings, because they are getting satisfaction there by watching those videos. So that's why, that's the utter foolishness, and that's the end of humanity there. Uttar Pradesh Law Commission, they brought this legitimate initiative there, and that was a brave one. It's a good one there. And even they addressed the issue of dereliction of duty that was not addressed before. Manipur also tried to bring this law, and they were reading the judgments and the case of US there. They saw that 99% of perpetrators in all these cases, 42 cases were there. In those cases, 99% of perpetrators remained unpunished. So this should not happen there. And these police officials who are not doing their duties, they must be charged there, and they must be behind the bars. And all the stringent actions should be taken against these officials who are afraid. Maybe they are afraid, or who are not taking actions against these mobs, and they are not able to save these people. Why they have guns in their hands if they are not able to save any person there? Why these are given this duty? Why these are made police officers? So that's the case. And you see, in the past also these kind of bills were tried to be introduced there, but those could not get introduced. So we could not have any kind of law. So Manipur law and UPLC, these two important recommendations are there, and UPLC recommendations are the most important one. Okay, and UPLC goes further than the Manipur statute in the laying down of the right to compensation. Means compensation, although compensation is not bringing that person back, we cannot give that person back to their families. But if that person is a sole earner in some cases, and these are poor people, and most of the times these are the sole earners to the family, and they have huge responsibility behind them. So if that person is killed, then there is a provision of giving 25 lakh rupees to the family, and it should be more than that, so that there would be more pressure on the state, and they will take action against these people. So these things are happening intentionally, that is clearly seen, and there is a political motive behind that, and there is a religious angle behind that, and religious politics is there. Religion is clearly used as a tool for this dirty politics, that is clearly seen. So the highest care should be taken there, and Supreme Court must inquire here and take this issue under it. The way they are monitoring the NRC exercise, in the same way they should take the lynching issue. Okay, now Home Minister Mr. Amit Shah will head a committee to propose against actions against lynching, and now we have to see what they do, because many suspicions remain, and we know that these people, the ruling party, they are not doing much against the lynching issue. They are not bringing any robust law there. They are just talking till now. What they do in the future, we need to see. Some state governments, they have brought some laws, like MP has proposed to bring this issue, but this is not a new law. This is a kind of amendment in the existing Cow Progeny Slaughter Prevention Act. So this amendment will only act against the issues of cow vigilantism, and if any kind of lynching is attached to the cow vigilantism issue, then it will be taken care of. But now there are many issues where charges are not of cow killing or something like that, something of beef. They are of any kind, means the allegation of stealing something, only the allegation, and with the name of that charge people are killing somebody, and that is not a robust law, we can say. Although Rajasthan government has brought a good law there, that's better than the MP's one, and they are calling it an anti-lynching bill. This prescribes higher punishments, investigation by the senior police official, and mandatory compensation, but not the critical elements of dereliction of the duty. So this element is missing in both the laws, and that should be there, because that is a right of the victim. And obviously we are paying taxes, we need security from the state, and that is the prime example of the need of the security. If somebody can kill you on the road, maybe there is a person or there is a mob, it is the responsibility of the police official there, appointed there, that to save that person. And in these kind of prime examples where the cases are so loud, people are shouting there and killing that person as a mob. So that's the important thing. So that's the utter pain. And suppose the condition of those kids who are there in the family, where their father or any person in their family, that person is lynched like that, and in some cases in front of those people, and they are not able to save that person from the mob, what they will cultivate in their hearts, in their minds for the future. Just think about that condition. Next article, you can go through that. Many data are given that, and our president is on tour of these 3 West African nations. Although these nations are not so big, but issue is important, and some suggestions which are given here, these are important. They say that we need to take some steps here. First, we need to take direct control of our development program, instead of handing our funds to intermediate bodies like African Union, African Development Bank Group, and the Team 9. So we need to take these things into our hands. And second, development assistance should prefer the countries with their substantial interest and potentials. So we need to recognize these countries, like 6 big trading partners are there. Nigeria, the most populous country, South Africa, the most advanced one, Egypt, Ghana, Angola, Algeria, these countries are the biggest one according to our trade preferences. So they can take many steps there, and we can join hands with their institutions, and we can take things directly in our hands. Third, we ought to prefer aiding countries which are willing to help us, from access to their natural resources to using our generics, means generic medicines we are selling them, and telemedicines and many things we are promising them. So if they are giving us the direct access of their resources, then we should prefer those countries. Although it's a mean thing, but it's a necessary thing, and this is the only way countries progress in this way. So they will get our support and we will get the access to our natural resources, because these are the ultimate needs and there is no alternative to these resources. So that's the case. And some important plans, projects we need to bring there which are compatible for the local requirements, and cost effective, scalable, future ready projects we need to bring there. And the head of the mission, Indian head of the mission in the recipient African state, must be an integral part of the aid stream, so that we are directly engaged with the process in these countries. So the one unique thing is happening with the African trade, like our trade with other countries other than African countries, that is declining. Our exports are declining and imports are putting pressure here, because imports are necessary for India, like the oil imports. So that's why that's a great stress against us, and that is hindering our growth aspects also. But with African nations, our trade is growing. With Nigeria it grew, with the Benin it grew, with the other countries it is growing. So that's a good thing, and we need to explore that. China is also present there. It has bigger capacity, and these countries are bound to go with China, but they want to remain with India. There are cultural inclinations and there are issues of good image of India, and it is not actually dominating their politics or their cultural issues. And when we are not interfering in their other important sensitive issues, and we are not a problem for their sovereignty, but China certainly is. So that's why they are not willing to go with China, and they are willing to go with India there. So that's the case, and these are positive grounds and hopeful grounds for us, and we should go for that. So directly you can put all these points in the mains question, because this is the article for mains question, and a specific one regarding India-Africa relation or the India-Africa trade policies and all. So that's the case. Okay. Now we will move forward. Cabinet nod is there for additional judges in the Supreme Court. Right now we are going with the maximum strength of 31, and in the starting of the constitution they gave us 7 judges plus 1 CGI. In 1950 from original 8 they made them 11, and 14 in 60, 18 in 78, 26 in 86, and 31 in 2009 year. So for 10 years now we are going with the maximum strength of 31, and recently from 27 we came to 31. So this power lies with Parliament, and this question was asked in the prelims examination. This power lies with Parliament, that they can change these numbers. So now the cabinet note is given, and they are proposing that there must be 34 judges instead of 31. So additional 3 judges will be selected. And what is the eligibility? That person should be a citizen of India, not exceeding 65 years of age, according to Article 124. That's important. And he must be a judge of one high court or more than one high courts, and at least 5 years he should be the judge there. Or as an advocate he must be there for more than 10 years, and he must be a distinguished jurist in the opinion of the President of India. And this power is conferred by Article 124. So this person can remain as a Supreme Court judge. He can be appointed as a judge, and on what basis? The collegium system is there for that, the controversial one. And after 1993 they decided that a body selection committee, collegium of CJI plus 4 senior most judges of the Supreme Court, they will decide about this selection, and they will propose these names, and with this way President will appoint the Supreme Court judge. So that's the case. Next, they are going for a new proposal for the new specific tribunal for interstate river water disputes. We are going according to the Act, and according to that, tribunals are created, and this is the Act of 1956, amended in 2002, and still going for that, but not much output we have seen in the last 6 decades. So that's a big problem. Now they say right now there is a provision that 5 years, within 5 years they need to deliver their verdict. But now with the new proposal they say that within 2 years that tribunal will give its verdict. So how practically they will imply this thing, we need to see. But they are practically giving 2 years maximum to award the verdict there. But what is the present situation? There are delays of 7 to 28 years instead of being a limit of 5 years there. But because it's a political issue and they are not able to solve those things, and Supreme Court cannot meddle there because it is not in the power of Supreme Court to decide about the inter-state river water disputes case. So that is the issue mentioned by the minister in the parliament. Next, BrahMos missile, which we have developed both India and Russia, and two rivers, Brahmaputra from India and Moskva from Russia. With the name of it, there is a BrahMos cruise missile. Okay, cruise missile. As I told you, ballistic missile goes in this way, and cruise missile cruises with this way. It's a guided missile system, and it can take nuclear warheads also. And we have developed that. Thailand is in talks with India to buy BrahMos cruise missiles. So that's the case, and that's important achievement by us. And 4 Mach is the speed here. 4 Mach means 4 times the speed of sound. Speed of sound is 333 meter per second, and if it is more than that, then it is more than 1 Mach, and 333 meter per second speed is 1 Mach speed. So it is 4 Mach, and you can see it's a guided system by the GPS facilities, GLONASS is Americas, and others which are used by India, Gagan and GPS. And first stage and second stage systems are there. First stage solid fuel rocket booster, second stage liquid fuel ramjet engine. Ramjet means it uses the oxygen of the atmosphere, and both are manufactured by ordnance factories in India. Okay, and the length is 8.4 meter, and the warhead it can take up to 300 kilograms, and that can be a nuclear warhead. And two companies, the India's DRDO and NPO Mashinostroyenika of Russia, so they both have formed BrahMos Aerospace, and that creates and maintains the issue of BrahMos missile. And we have been a member of MTCR regime since 2016, and according to that there must be a initiative to not proliferate missiles which are having a range of more than 300 kilometers, and they can take 500 kilograms of warhead. So there must be a cap on that, and it's a non-binding provision, non-binding under MTCR regime. So we both are complying with that, but we are developing more than the range of 500 kilometers right now. So that's the case, and this is all for today. We'll meet again tomorrow. Thanks a lot. Keep watching. It was a